Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are fortunate to have Jermaine with us. He is one of the person who really love web3 and blockchain. When I went through his profile and his current working model and project, I really got, astonished because some of the key industry which he is working, that is music as well as investment, and the vision which he holds is revolutionize these things with the help of blockchain and web3. The key part which we should learn today is, like, if someone believe in a futuristic technology, they can really bring a difference, and the same we are looking forward into this. So with all this, I really welcome Jermaine here on the call. So hi Jermaine, how are you?
Hey, hey, what's going on? How's everything?
I'm really good, and we are really excited to have you. And it was, it's going to be a good learning for the listeners and for everyone, and especially the people who are looking to start something crazy, something new in the Web3. And with all this, we are going to start.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So, with first, everyone really like to know, like, there are many time, we move around, we went through the technologies and these all things. So the first question comes, like, why crypto and web3? Why you have chosen this, and how this all things started, like when you see like crypto or web3 is something is came in your life, and why you have decided this specific thing around.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. Well, you know what? I've always been fascinated by the way things are structurally done. Always been fascinated by the whole infrastructure, and especially when it comes to finance. So when it comes to finance, when it comes to Bitcoin and finance, they basically go hand in hand. Not only that, but the fact that it is a new industry, and while it is a new industry, it also gives people an opportunity to kind of seize the moment. And what a lot of people I think forget when it comes to generating wealth or definitely creating a big company is that the fact that opportunity matters. And when you can strike when the iron is hot, or when you can strike a little early is the best time opposed to being late. And if you have a good product and you think that your product could actually beat other people, why not be a little bit competitive?
Definitely. Opportunity is a very great thing. And, having a good eye to identify the new opportunity, grabbing it and converting into a real time setup, that is a big thing, and which I am definitely looking into your projects which are happening now or something around. So, how was all your journey happen? Like, which was your first project or something? How you encountered with that, and how you reached till here in this whole Web3 world? And,
Yeah,
like,
no
how
problem.
long you have been in this?
Okay, so I don't want to bore everybody to death, but long story short, I started off as a graphic designer, and when you're doing graphic designs for other people, you basically are helping them sell their product, and then from there, I kind of noticed that my graphic designs were really really good. That instead of me just getting paid, to do a project, I was actually starting to ask for a little bit of equity, and in some of the companies, I said, hey, if I could increase your sales by 2%, 3%, 4%, what kind of equity would I get in your company for as long as I could increase the sales. So with that being said, that actually led into everything else. That led into the whole crypto and private equities, which we're basically focusing on right now, the whole financial structure. So instead of when it came to paperwork that would allow me to get equity in companies, because obviously paperwork is always tedious. I
Right.
think when it comes to I think when it comes to Web3, we could kind of make it a little bit more easier and a little bit more fast paced. So typically when I would get small stakes in companies, um, for me to get the paperwork back, it might take two to 3 weeks, and sometimes even a month. But if we did it kind of like an NFT or kind of like a blockchain thing, we could kind of like speed up the process. We could kind of make it instant. And the moment I don't perform, or the project is no longer in my interest, we could just completely remove myself from it, so that it allows the company to be a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more faster. So that kind of pointed me in the direction of this. So basically was graphic designs to helping customers, increase their sales with the whole marketing and advertising, asking for private equity, and then just basically coming up with a faster financial model that will help me achieve my goal.
Okay, so it's something like you started something from your side. You experience like this is a pain which is you are feeling, and then you realize the same pain can be felt by many people, and then you came up with the solution
Yes,
into the
yes. You know
whole
what?
setup.
Yes, yes, you could definitely say that because a lot of people like to say when you build a product, just make sure that it's a pain point that you actually personally have. And until you really said it like that, I never really noticed how much of a pain point it was. I was just trying to get paid in a faster pace, but like you're like 100% right. I don't know how many other people are having this pain point, but I know I definitely am. And the way how we help other people when it comes to Trilicon Digital is that what we believe everybody's company has some kind of value. A lot of people might not be able to build the team, they might not have the resources, or they cannot raise the capital. But with Trilicon Digital, what we do, we actually fractionalize the company. But I don't want to get too technical. To make it in layman's terms, we basically find parts of the business that they could actually license out to other people. So, say for example, if you have a nice office space, right, but you only work from, let's say, 9 to 5. After 5, like maybe 5 to 10, you could probably, rent out an office or rent out a desk to somebody else that wants to come in there and maybe do photos, and maybe want to come in there and work after work. So even though your business has stopped making money at 5 o'clock, there's still money to be made after 5. So with Trilicon Digital, we look for those other, I guess, valuable assets within the company that people are not looking at to help generate money. So I guess solving my pain point also solves their pain point.
Definitely, definitely. But here the question arises, like as you mentioned, like if you, as you have given an example of using the office space or being a part of a company and these all things. So does all the payment and everything, like doing some payment or receiving some equity or receiving some part, all does need to be done through crypto, or we can do it out with the fiat money also on the base of it? How the things goes it on that?
Well, I'm a fiat currency guy, so we do a fiat currency. What cryptocurrency allows us to do is just basically find out the owner of it, and if that
Hmm.
person didn't want payment, he could get payment a little faster, and he could avoid his fees. But a lot of people still today, they still like, rubies, or they still have pesos or whatever it may be, and they just want to enter standard fiat currency, which is fine. So you could have it both ways. And not to harp on this issue, but this is what I think the issue is with crypto. I think a lot of people see it as currency instead of seeing it as technology, and that's the downside of it. So the way how we use cryptocurrency, it doesn't really matter of the value of it. We just use it for the software, we use it for the technology. So when we use Ethereum blockchain, we're actually using it for, basically to help track down exactly who owns what, and it allows them to trade the assets among themselves. So say for example, if when we do break down a company and you have ownership of that company, you could transfer that ownership to your son, and you don't have to do anything on our back end. While typically, if you have equity in a company and you did change ownership, a lot of paperwork will have to be filled out. You see, so
Right.
we're not focusing so much on the currency matter of it. We're focusing on like the transferability, if that makes any sense.
No, no, 100% that makes sense. And actually, Trilicon is one of the project which I went through, and it's really exciting. Like it is doing DAO. Like DAO is decentralizing model of autonomous organization running. So it is using that model, and as you mentioned, like if it is working on a fiat currency setup, then it is really awesome because you know working on fiat as bringing the blockchain technology together to do distribution will really make easy for many people, like a layman people or many people who are afraid of crypto but want to use technology, is really awesome for it. So moving further on that, what do you think about, like as you already are a bit detailed on it, so how you think about DAO, like how DAO can bring a difference in the normal people life, and what important you think DAO have in the whole blockchain setup?
Okay, so when it comes to DAOs, to be honest, I think that it's going to be very, very important for our future. When it comes to raising money, when it comes to building communities, I think that's one reason. And that, to be honest, that's probably like the main reason. What we don't really understand when it comes to like DAOs slash NFTs, because they kind of like go hand in hand, is the fact that DAOs would allow creators to create companies at a faster and a larger scale because they could acquire a little bit more capital. And not only that, is that they could actually have a community. So just imagine if I had a podcast right now, like a typical podcast like this one, right? It will be up to you, you being the host of the show, to basically after this to do the files, make them sound good, then go market it, then find people. But if it was ran as a DAO, you don't have to worry about the
Yeah.
marketing. So yeah, imagine how much time that it will save you not worrying about the marketing, and how much money it will save you not worrying about the marketing. You know, so as people become more creative, I believe that DAOs would be more and more important. But if a person is not really creative, I don't honestly think that DAOs are actually going to support what they do.
Definitely. So DAO means like if you have something new and creativity, then community will, overall grow against it, and that they will help each other. Like DAO is something like a closed community setup which help each other and support, as well as can grow in infinite level to, you don't need external marketing and that setup, and the things can go on. That totally makes sense in this scenario. I actually checked your another project, like that was more interesting compared to the first one, Trilicon, because Trilicon is definitely a good one, but Nouns is something which is targeting to a very different industry, and especially in the music industry. So how that thing is moving, like music is a very different type of segment. It is connected with many copyrights and many scenarios. So how that is working, like how that thing is moving around.
All right. So basically, what we did is Snounds actually came before Trilicon Digital, but the thing is that since we started a DAO, we wanted the people that are a part of the DAO to be a part of Snounds. Now, what Snounds does, I love the way you said about the copyright, and it hits it on the head. It basically solves a lot of pain points. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. So, say for example, if you have somebody in India right now that could sing, like she's like the best singer in the world, it'll be very, very hard for her to break into the American market or maybe like the Asian market, right? But what if
Right, right.
that yeah, so now what Snounds allows to happen, it allows that person in India to get a chance in America, you know? So basically it allows people like you that you just say you might know somebody that's your friend, almost as an A&R, which is basically you're getting paid to find talent and we take over. Because a lot of the you could say the mix up is the fact of copyrights. It's a fact of like different trademarks, licensing, who owns what part of what song, the royalty payments, all that stuff. And a lot of people, especially the big corporations, they don't want to give up any type of ownership. While in America we have a huge Indian population, right? So we could actually take somebody from India, bring them over to America, and help them generate money. So it just comes back to the whole financial infrastructure that we use.
Definitely. So, are you like, there is just a common question. Like, when I discussed this thing within my team, I came up with that a good type of question, because when they think from the perspective of, Web3 blockchain or something like that. So, does the song is also going to register on the network, or like on the any blockchain, or just some copyright information or the creator information? What exactly is getting stored on the network in this?
All right, so it's ownership and the copyright. So again, like when it comes to like transfer and ownership. So when it comes to music, as you know, music could be played forever. That's the good thing about it. The bad side of right now, as it is the fact that even though music could be played forever, the person that made it won't be paid forever. So what the blockchain technology allows us to do, it allows the people that actually were a part of the songs to get paid a forever, and then also transfer payments instantly and easily. So, like typically right now, just say if you own half of a song and something happens to you, God forbid, and you want to give it to your son, other big companies could come in and take the rights away. Like you wouldn't even know, because they would have their big time lawyers and all that good stuff. But when it comes to the blockchain, if anything happens to you, you could actually make it transfer to your son, and it's just instant. So we could have, instead of like if payments go out on Monday and you transfer them to your son, the son's name, by Tuesday he can start getting the payments right away. So it
Yeah.
just helps out like the ease of payments, and so that's what we use it for.
So definitely. So the knowledge and skill which you have in Trilicon, like which you are using in Trilicon, the same setup with that music industry can be used in the sound. And definitely people can easily penetrate the different areas, and especially the global market with their upcoming, and especially with the holding their own copyrights type of setup in the blockchain network. So people can identify and work around on it. This is really good
Exactly.
happening. Yeah. So for this all, because the thing which you have told, that really sound a bit of technical, like you might need some good technical and marketing teams around. So how you prefer to do that? Like, do you keep in-house team, outsource, or how you work around on this particular setup? How you manage your
Okay.
team?
Yeah, no problem. So when it just comes to like marketing and advertisement, we have everything in house. When it comes
Okay.
to certain coding, we do have some in house and we have some external. So it kind of depends on the project and the budget and the goal.
Definitely. So you mentioned like you yourself is where one of the awesome graphic designer or something like that. So in your current career, like did you got like you might have created few good NFTs which are there in the market, or how was your experience in that segment? Like did you explore that?
Yeah, so you know what? We're still exploring the NFTs. We just did it almost as just not as an art, but just as a document. But now we're trying to get into it as an art and then also as a document. So we're still fairly new at creating it, and we're just hoping that we're definitely onto something, and it looks like that we are.
Definitely, that's good. That's good. So now coming back to the team management, because as per our consideration, when a founder has a good dream and good setup, team is also a key part to work around or set up on it. Having your own in-house team, that is really good because you can easily interview them, work around and set up and doing out that. But for outsource, as you optimally use Upwork, Fiverr, or LinkedIn or any type of platform. So do you face any specific issue setup in that, like what you expect from the people who are working from you as a contract on the outsource model, like what you find as a issue and what you want to send a message to them?
Yeah. Okay. So the issue is going to be this. Normally, it obviously depends what kind of freelancer you have. You could have like a great person. I'd rather deal with companies than freelancers, but it depends on the freelancer. The issue that people are going to have is the fact that when you do hire a freelancer, if they don't get the work done, there's no one to blame but yourself. And sometimes that could be painful, because if you pay somebody to help you do an app and they don't do it at a certain time, you're the one that's out of luck.
Definitely.
So yeah, so that's why I stay away from quote unquote freelancers and maybe hire agencies, especially like when it comes to outsourcing. But to me, that's a major problem. And another major problem is going to be the fact that when you do hire freelancers, I would almost guarantee whoever hires freelancers a lot. Meaning you have an open revolving door. And when you have that happening, instead of you being a CEO or instead of you being a boss and taking care of your business, you become an HR manager. You spend
Okay.
so much time on Upwork, you spend so much time on Fiverr trying to find the right people. So to try to like avoid that is definitely like vet people, and I would say go to agencies, always look at reviews, and maybe trying to talk to them before you're really trying to start on a long journey. Then always prepare for the bad times, and because it's gonna happen. It's not even a question if, it's just when.
Definitely. So from your perspective, like, first, definitely, if you out of the work, that is a very bad luck or, very bad situation. But on the other counter scenario, the selection process itself become a tidy because, many times, many people apply with the same skill set and you have to verify, you have to see like which mentality, which set is working around or something like that in that sense around. So
Exactly,
just
exactly.
yeah, this makes sense totally on that. So just coming back to these all set because you already have some in-house team which is doing marketing and that thing. And in crypto world it is very much difficult for people to get the right set of audience and something like that. So for your project like Trilicon and Snounds, how you decide or like first of all who is your current audience, what you think, and how you decide, like can you give some tips to the people who are looking for marketing, who have the idea but they it is tough for them to market and doing it out?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So anytime you're trying to market something, the number one thing would be is just to remember that your idea is not unique, and maybe trying to find a competitor so you could automatically know exactly who your audience is. If that doesn't work, what you can do, you just got to ask yourself the question, who's going to buy my product? And that will help you find out who your market is. So when it comes to let's say Trilicon Digital, like we have the DAO side and the private equity side. When it comes down to the DAO, right? Our customer as people that that believe in NFTs, that believe in cryptocurrency. But when it comes to the private equity side, our customers are business owners, entrepreneurs. So the best way to do it is just always ask yourself, okay, who's the person that's going to buy my idea, and that'd be the best way to market it. And then when you are marketing, always remember that marketing is always a test, so you're not going to get it right. And I will always recommend you to like market to two different types of audience at the same time, or two different types of campaigns at the same time. So say for example, if we're marketing this podcast, I would say, okay, look, we're going to market this podcast for people that's 18 to 25. That'll be one
Mm-hmm.
campaign, and then another campaign would be 25, maybe say 25 to 35, and that'll be another campaign. And you
Right.
compare, yeah, and you compare those two against each other, and you always just trying to make that better. So say for example, if the 25 whatever to 35 is doing a lot better, that's what you focus on, and then you try to narrow it
Definitely.
down. Then you say, then you go a little, you try to narrow it down, or you trying to broaden up a little bit and say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do this podcast to people in America or people in India. How we're gonna do this, and you kind of separate it that way and see which one get the better traffic, and then keep going, and that will help you kind of define exactly who you to market to. But it never ends,
Definitely.
so don't think it ends.
Yeah, it's like a testing model, like alpha, beta test, and whichever gives you the more optimum result, you still need to optimize. Like there is no 100%. Like every time you have to optimize to get the best ROI of your, of your investment and your market reach. In that sense, you can do it up. So,
Exactly.
making there is a very good question which generally I get when we discuss about blockchain and these all things, that is a community, because I have heard somewhere like blockchain is community and community is blockchain. Building community, people are in the mindset like I have to build community. Okay, now what I have to do, I have to just do go on Twitter and get the follower, go on Discord and get the people on that, and I have to keep talking with them and making it out. So does it really like that? Like you already are in this space and you have done and in the marketing thing you see. So does it something like that, or it has a proper strategy or workaround when you go for Twitter, Discord, or these all mediums?
Yeah, it definitely does. A lot of people would say Twitter is the number one spot and not really Instagram. But then I'll also say it kind of depends on what you're building. Now, typically, Twitter would be the number one spot to go to, because Twitter is a mess right now. But I think, to be honest, as these projects get better and they start to become more real and become more useful, I think the platform will change. But as
Right.
of right now, if it's just for fun, a little community, definitely Discord or Twitter. But I think when you start to get serious, like when it comes to our private equity side, like we're serious for like LinkedIn. But when it comes to our funny side, when we're doing like other small companies and just something fun, Twitter's definitely it. But you just gotta remember how the audience you're marketing to, and just remember that they are definitely different.
Definitely, that's true. So, like this is the segment in our talk where we just talk about some upcoming things of yours, so your experience and these all things. So, last question on Trilicon and on Snout. So, what is the current stage of that project, and what our listeners or audience need to looking forward, and what is coming in the future in that? Like, what is overall statement for that?
Yeah, no problem. So when it comes to Trilicon Digital, we definitely encourage everybody to go to trilicondigital.com. It's a DAO. We're still basically we're reviewing projects and we're coming up with like a news segment so people can kind of know a little bit more about the Web3 and DAO industry. But then eventually we're going to launch our own NFT. So basically right now we're just building a community with it for the DAO purpose. And then for Snounds, it's the same thing. We're basically going to get enough people on Trilicon Digital, and then we're going to transfer them over to Snounds. So the perk is, if you do get a Trilicon Digital NFT, you automatically will get a Snounds NFT, which will allow you to get music royalties. And we're going to start small and build a community, and keep scaling up.
That totally makes sense, like how these two are connected, and as you already told, like these two are working in a segment of model. So definitely if you participate in one and if you get access to other, that is a good perk. And definitely I appreciate, and I tell to my listeners, do check these things 100% and get more detail and work around on it. So now we are moving to our next segment. First of all, this will be a type of segment where people will like to know more about you personally, how the thing goes, and how you look around on that. So first of all, how you see, like, because in the currently there's a downtrend in the crypto market, and people are just stuck somewhere. So how you see this time? Like, is it a good time to build? Is it a good time to go up with something new or wait? What do you suggest to the new people or new entrepreneurs to work around in Web3?
Okay, so what I'll suggest that if you are a new entrepreneur, definitely find out a little bit more about Web3 technology or DAOs. Maybe you might not have to implement it right away, but definitely find out because it's here to stay. If you see it from a software standpoint. Now if you see it from a cryptocurrency standpoint, your best bet might be to wait a little bit. Maybe it's still going to go down, and just basically trying to catch it on the wave up. Maybe after a year or so. So it kind of depends on your tolerance level, exactly how much money you want to lose if you see it as a currency, or you could see it as as a developer, like how could you utilize this software to kind of scale people's companies or scale your own company.
Definitely. So what do you think, like from your personal perspective, like there was a time when NFTs was there, the boom, then there was a time when, the D5s and things were there around. So what could be the next big thing in blockchain? Like if you see some current trend or something, what you expect could be something new is coming around?
All right, so I would say it's going to be DAOs, but then I will also mention this, where a lot of people are not, which is my conspiracy theory. I don't think a lot of people see it this way. When it comes to this industry right now, it's fairly new, right? And when it comes to making NFTs or smart contracts, at the end of the day, that's a developer's responsibility. So people that normally are building these companies, they normally are developers. It just so happens that most developers, not all, but most developers might not be good CEOs. They might not be able good salespeople. So what you're seeing right now in the market and why it's going down is the fact of the matter is the people that started these companies, they weren't generally true CEOs. They were
Right,
developers or they were CTOs. They were really technical. They weren't really like salespeople, and that's why a lot of these projects, they're not built like a company. They don't have customer service. They don't have emails. They don't have any of that. They don't have a sales team because these crypto projects, they're not that. So I would just like hold off and let everything fall, and then in the future I'll hop on because I believe, let's say for example, 6 to 12 months from now, the entrepreneurs are going to start to get in this space, and they're the ones that's going to build like the good companies. So say for example, with me with Trilicon Digital, what makes us a little different than other NFT projects is that we have a sales team, we have customer service, there's people that you could reach out to, we have an office you could come into in New York, we have an office you can come into in Bethlehem. We sit down and we do different talks, and that's right there separates us from like 99% of the market, because a lot of these people don't even show who they are, and if they show who they are, what they're building has nothing to do with what they did in the past, and it just looks like for like a quick cash grab. So I would definitely say stay put, but DAOs and NFTs, I think are gonna make a huge comeback when the real serious entrepreneurs hop on. But as of right now, like today, I would say DAOs maybe might be the new highlight.
definitely. But the talk which you told now is really make a good sense to me, and definitely to all the listeners. Was like, there was a time like people were thinking like, okay, I just need to launch a project, I just need to take the million or something, I just need to sell the 10,000 pics jpegs and get the money and go out. So there was a trend, and like, everyone's just starting a project anonymously like that, they're just getting some hype and working out. But that is correct, like if you seriously have something connected with the strong real world, you have a proper support team, you have a long vision and setup, this thing will really make back. And that is something which we all are looking forward into it. So now getting a bit, know about you, like, everyone has some low time, high time, and these all things. So what was something, people can know about, like what was your lowest time, you think, in your, professional life was there, and how you overcome it, and what was your inspiration and motivation to keep going so people can learn from it?
I would say that when it comes to, I'll say business and personal is the same thing. There's always going to be a time when you are creating a company in which that you may think that it's not working, it's not going well, you're not getting I guess the results that you need. um and when you do stuff like that, and my time is the fact that I had a company wasn't performing well, and then obviously my personal life was taking a hit because of the money. You got to make sure money's coming in right
Definitely.
away. Yeah. So that was, I guess, like the one of the lowest times of my life, because I felt as if what I was destined to do, be an entrepreneur, wasn't fully working because the company wasn't growing. It was like stale. And then the personal life on top of that, I got hit with like different financial, I guess, debits. Like I had to pay for like a lot of things. So that was definitely like the lowest time. And to get over that, man, to me, which is crazy, because I actually just had a friend that his name's Steven. He was actually on the Ellen show. I don't know if you guys watch Ellen over there. He actually committed suicide. Everybody thought like his life was great.
Oh,
And I even thought his life was great. So what I would say is that if people are not feeling a certain type of way, like they're not happy all the time, let people know, because you will be surprised what like your friends would do to help you. So even though I was going through like a low point in my life, and I would say like almost mini depressed, is the fact that I had friends and family. Like I'm the type of person to vocalize it, and you could literally see it in me if I'm not doing fine. So for those
right.
people that are going through like bad parts, like just tell people what you're going through and just show it. You'd be surprised how many people will really help you.
No, that that is a really good thing which you told. Like many people do not tell. Like there is a time everyone face when things doesn't work out, and 70% this time happen. Like many time people think like this thing will work. They have to just stop the money which is coming. They may need to leave the job, or they have to manage somehow the work or something like that. And on the other side, the way we think, like the ideology, the world need to work, it doesn't work in that way, and we get depressed. But the good thing is, which you mentioned, people should talk. You should accept what is happening with you. You have to talk with the people, and you may get some better solution, or instead you will get a support to move on, because something will take time. Like overall growing will take time in the overall community setup.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that was really good to know. Like, and it was really inspirational to understand in that whole setup. So now we come to our next segment, which is a bit quick. That is a rapid fire. We'll just ask you a couple of good questions, and you just can tell us somewhat so we can understand more about you or something like that. Okay.
Yep.
So the first one is, okay, which one is your favorite crypto exchange?
You said my cryptocurrency?
Crypto, yeah, we can
Yeah.
start with
Okay.
cryptocurrency. Yeah.
Okay.
Which,
Uh, I would say Ethereum,
okay. Your favorite sports?
football.
Okay. So you are currently following this World Cup very closely.
I actually am, but over here in America, we call that soccer. But I meant like
Uh,
football, like the our football. But I do watch soccer as well.
Okay. Yeah. American football is known as soccer. Yeah, that's the right thing. Okay. Your role model, like someone, something you consider like that is something is a role model in your life or something to be,
Yeah.
you know.
You, you know what? I'll say my dad. My dad is my role model.
Wow, that is good. And actually, so that means the beauty is you have grown by seeing your role model, so you can really
Ex-
adopt the things from it. Yeah,
Exactly, exactly. And you know what? To be honest, not to harp on stuff like that. A lot of people like to say other people are their role models. It could be like Kobe Bryant, this, that, and the third. But a lot of people forget that a lot of parents do a lot of I guess things that we didn't really know that they did. Obviously if I was 5 years old and my dad did something, I'm not going to really remember. But the fact that what we also fail to forget as children of our parents is the fact that a lot of our parents at the same time was growing and learning just like how we are, like the same way I'm growing and learning, our parents were growing and learning. And if you came out with at least a decent education, and if you came out speaking properly and having manners, your parents did a hell of a job, and you gotta appreciate that.
definitely. Because we generally see some good qualities with the people all around the world, which whom we did never met. Like we say, like this person is good or this person is that, but our parents who has done so much for us, we definitely need to appreciate it for whole life. And we are the people who actually owe this thing from them. That is 100% honest. So,
Exactly.
uh, so what is your favorite? Like beaches or mountain?
Beaches. I'm a beach guy. I definitely want to be on the ocean.
So, which is your favorite place we can say for relaxing and vacation? Or what do you do for your peace? Like, do you go for a long drive, or you go on a beach and alone? What do you do for peace and that all thing around?
I actually do both. I go on I drive I drive a lot, so you could say driving, but then I also like beaches as well.
Okay, and the last question: which is your favorite car? A model of car or something?
That's a tough one. I have a couple, but I guess if I had to choose a favorite, it would probably be the Bentley Continental Spur, Flying Spur. That's my favorite.
Okay, yeah, that is really awesome. So with this, like, it was really inspirational to understand all the things from you, all the your key parts and that all thing. And this really brings us to the end of the session. Like, we understood a bit. Our audience would have understood about your projects, and especially how they should manage in this particular segment of web3, how they have to manage in the downtime, how they have to manage if they have some new startup, if they have to come up with something new, how they have to manage the marketing. These all things which definitely we have talked, it was awesome. So at end, I just want to ask you, like, there is the one question, a public opinion question is there in front of you. you know People are there in our community, in our thing, who are having these type of, who are having some startup, some work in a web3 world or something like that. But the key issue with what they find is making a target or a goal. if they make some long term goal or long term target, they do not achieve, they get, depressed. Or if they make very short term goal, it doesn't, achievable or something like that. So how you do, like how you manage your goals or your, your target, and how you keep yourself motivated and inspired to achieve it, so people can learn from it and go for it.
I'm probably a little different. This is going to be a different answer from typical people. I would say to manage your goals, the best thing for you to do is not to manage your goals. Have somebody else do it. Whether it be a wife, a
Okay.
spouse, a friend. Yeah, have other people be hold you accountable for it. Because at the end of the day, we're all human and we're going to find leisure and just relaxing and not hitting our goals. So every Friday, what I have my brother. He usually will give me a call. We just have a typical conversation and we go over exactly what I did for the week or what he did for the week to kind of hold each other accountable and kind of know exactly if we are progressing or not. So yeah, my number one thing is that if you do have your goals, if you want, type it up, email it to a close relative and say, hey, listen, by this date I should have this done. By this date I should have this done. If I don't, let me know. And hopefully that person is close enough to you to give you the real deal about yourself, and then hopefully you could change from there. Because if you do it yourself, at the end of the day, if you're grading yourself, you should always pass, no matter what how bad you're doing. So I wouldn't recommend that. The person track their own goal.
But this is really a good, good suggestion which you have given. Frankly, I have received this first time, and I really like the idea. Like, definitely this is something which might be we all missing, because we always use many things like apps, this, that, everything. But we ourselves is accountable, and that is a miss. So that is a really great advice you have given to the people. Like, if you really want to achieve something, get someone on board, at least as someone who you believe or trust, or you something like that, and tell them and get them and make them, they create a goal for you, and at least count you accountable for it. Definitely, this all makes sense. So with this, we really appreciate your time, guys. Please go visit Trilicon, Snounds. These are very awesome projects are coming up. I will definitely provide all the links in a description of our podcast, so you can check it out, and definitely follow Jermaine for all these new insights. And you can always, connect him on LinkedIn or Twitter. We will provide you the details. And with this all, I will really like to thank Jermaine. Jermaine, any last few words for our audience, listeners? Anything you want to say on art?
Yeah, yeah. Just definitely tell everybody that definitely, if you guys want to join the movement, go to trillacondigital.com. Just follow our news. You can follow us on all social media platforms with the same thing, Trillicon Digital. And definitely join our DAO. And so we could kind of change the whole landscape of entrepreneurship, what it means to scale a company, and then also, give our founders a sense of, accomplishment by building communities and helping them with their innovation.
Definitely, guys. Yeah, this is a very good point. Is there, like, DAO is something a closed community part, and blockchain is community. So interrelated DAO is going to be a future. So definitely look into that particular part, check it out, and go for and watch it out. With this, Jermaine, I really thank you for your time and everything, and really appreciate the knowledge and things you shared with all our community, our listeners, and grown their knowledge on.
No problem, no problem, man. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot for this interview.
Yeah.